Hello, YTPC. It's been a little while. My church had our national youth gathering, so I've been gone for a couple weeks. But I've been kind of watching some of your videos on occasion, and today I'd like to share with you what I've been doing as far as putting together a little connection, as well as putting a VR out to Elwood Maker, because he asked an interesting question about our most unusual pipe. So I'm not even going to do the housekeeping because we're going to get into that kind of as part of the video. So let me light up here. Now, Briar Blues a while ago put out a video talking about his suggestions for starting a pipe collection. And I took great interest in that. And one of the things that he said in particular was to focus on something, whether it's a brand or a particular style of pipe or whatever it is. So as those of you who have looked at my channel know that I have a preference for billiard pipes. And I have a preference for kind of the no-nonsense pipes. And so one of the pipes I bought and I did a review on was this Edwards billiard. Now this was an older one, and if you remember, it had the thin walls like I liked. There was no filters or stingers or any of that nonsense. They had put the tenon in there very well. This pipe smoked great. I could figure out what my burn rate was by the temperature of the bowl, and I like this pipe a lot. And it turns out, as I did a little more research, that these pipes were made with Algerian briar, which the Edwards pipe shop had kind of a corner on that. It was a guy from France that moved to the United States in the 1960s, and before Algerian briar became not available to everybody else in the early 60s, he managed to get a whole cache of Algerian briar, and in the 60s and 70s, when not many people could get their hands on a good old briar, he did. And part of the Edwards pipe mystique also is an oil curing process, which Dunhill used in some of their pipes as well, as part of the sweetening of the pipe, getting that sap out of the root briar. So this pipe has a lot going for it. And these were factory-made pipes, but in the 60s and 70s and 80s, I think even, they were made in the United States, in Tampa, Florida. And they made a great effort to make an easily accessible pipe. It was not an expensive pipe. It's a factory-made pipe. It's well-made. It's a good smoker. Had all those characteristics I was looking for. So I decided that that's what I was going to base a collection on, was these Edwards pipes. So this was a billiard. It was a 700L. So I bought this pipe for $40. It was an estate pipe, and it was probably older. And not long after that, on eBay, I found another 700L. Only this one, when I got it, was a little different. This was only $10. $10 for this pipe. It's an Edwards pipe. It has the Algerian briar marked on it, just like the other one. But you can see, as time went on, they got the wall a little thicker. And if you'll notice that the shank isn't quite as long. If you remember that having a longer shank is one of the things that I like in a pipe. So they kind of went with the style. It's still the same basic chamber dimensions in there, if you can see that. So I have examples. I guess this one might be just a little bigger. Maybe it's just because I'm a little closer. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a little closer to the screen. So they have basically the same chamber dimensions, but the wall's thicker on what it looks like the newer one. I think it must be a relatively new one, or a newer one. They were still making them. I found a catalog where they were still making some pipes. Well, we'll get into that in a minute too, because there's a of the group. So what they started doing was not only manufacturing pipes for their own store brand, but they also manufactured pipes under another name later on. But we'll get to that in a minute. So I also bought, there was another Edwards pipe that came up on eBay. It was this one. Nice rusticated with some places where it's smooth. And this was called the Baron line. It's also an Edwards pipe made with that Algerian briar. Looks like it's got a little age on it as well. And then I found that they actually manufactured some of these pipes under a couple of different names, but what they were known as latest here is the Benton pipes. So I had bought this one for $20. I thought that was a nice looking pipe. All these pipes smoke great. So I went out and bought a Benton pipe I saw on eBay. Now this one I think is newer because this one doesn't say Algerian briar. Now what happened was their pipe manufacturer, they called FGT Enterprises. I'm not sure if they bought them out or if it was just a change in the factory name so they could make some pipes to sell to, you know, other tobacco shops, and so that they had a brand that went beyond just what they sold in their chain of tobacco stores. So these were also factory-made pipes. Now you can see that this is almost a Canadian billiard. When I looked at this on eBay, I got fooled because I was thinking that this was a bigger pipe than what it is. I mean, you can see the similarity in shape, but this one is much smaller. I got fooled on that one. All right, but I got a Benton pipe to be representative of, this was their top line of pipes. It was a smooth finish, and this was the one that would be marketed to other places as well. Now, I probably overspent a little on this one because I spent $30 on this pipe, and I think that's about what they go for new, like $40 or something, $40, $50. Again, it's a no-nonsense pipe, very good. You can see a little change. This one, I talked about this before, if I took off this rubber, you see that this has a thinner mouthpiece, and they get a wider fishtail as they went later. I do like that change. But now the piece de resistance, and really the reply that I have for Elwood maker is this. Now, while they also had a factory making pipes, the guy that came over from France also made pipes right there in the shop. And they had some pipe makers that would work there, and I'm not sure, they might have had some that were working outside, but they all used this Algerian briar. So while they had this line of readily accessible factory pipes, they also always, when they were in the United States, had this line of handmade pipes available. So this, what Elwood Maker asked for us to do in our VRs is to pull out our most unusual pipes. I saw this pipe and I kind of had it. It looked to me like you could hold it, it looked like you were, it's a good wizard pipe, right? It kind of has that sense like a church warden, but it's a straight pipe. And it has this detail, and it's got a little detail, I don't know if you can see it here. It's got some rustication just in a band here around the edge. I like the way this line goes up here. And inside, this bit is a push-in bit, and it actually has like a cone it fits into. And almost, there's actually enough space that it acts a little bit like a reverse calabash. I really wasn't happy. The picture that I saw on eBay, it must have been the bowl of a different pipe because it looked like a much thinner walled bowl. But when I got the pipe, it was this thick bowl. And I thought, oh no, I'm not going to be able to control the burn in the same way that I like to. But you know what? When I got to using this pipe, actually, I could feel it getting warm before it burned my mouth or anything. It got warm enough for me to control it. And I think this part here cools down, so I'm going to have to figure out the physics of this pipe. But I just thought this was an unusual pipe, and it looked like a wizard's wand. This looked like if there were a wizard on Harry Potter, this might be a pipe that they would use. It was very much like all the wands in Harry Potter. So this is my latest acquisition. I probably overspent a little bit. This is a handmade pipe. It says handmade right on it. It says Edwards, Algerian Briar. This is unusual for Edwards because most of theirs come in this lighter finish. This is a walnut colored pipe, but it's Algerian Briar, so it's stained walnut. It has this nice turned bit, and this kind of is the top of my collection, if you will, at this point. So 5 pipes. I have a little collection started here, under $200. You know, because I think sometimes when we talk about things like collecting, we're thinking about big. Now that's a little deal, you know, as opposed to some of these other pipes. But it's good for me. I don't know about you. If I can find a good pipe that I like to smoke, that I'm happy with, that's good for me. And I really do like the way this pipe smokes. I got the Piper's Pleasure in it from Boswell's. I got my Tawny Port. Do I look like a Harry Potter wizard? Maybe a little bit. Lord of the Rings or something. You know, Cobbett of the Shire's got his, and here I got this. But this is me trying to take on some of the stuff that Briar Blues has been talking about as far as pipe collections, and start to mess with it on my own at an economic mark that I could get to. You know, the spending, you know, $200,000 on a pipe is not where I am right now. But I think we can do the same thing here. And I've got a nice range of pipes. I'm going to be looking for more unusual ones, maybe in the future. Probably won't add to this collection any more smooth billiards. Probably be something unusual. And to be honest, the Edwards Pipe Company made a lot of strange looking pipes. So it should be a fun time getting this collection together. I hope you enjoyed this video. Happy piping to you. God bless you, and have a great day.